What's up, everyone? It's been a long time since I've done a movie review or any review really on the channel, and I had to go and see Joker this past weekend, and I had to let it sit and kind of marinate in my brain a little bit as to how I wanted to discuss this, because I wanted to do it spoiler free. And I wanted to have all my thoughts collected, and I wanted to mull over every little thing I could think of about this movie. And right off the bat, I want to say that this movie's going to stick with you for a very long time. This movie, it's so well directed. It's beautifully horrific and tragic. And I couldn't call anything that happened in this film whatsoever. It's still it's still like lingering in my brain. It's basically it's one of those movies that digs into you, and it's not going to be for everyone. Do I recommend this movie though? Absolutely. I absolutely do recommend this movie, only for the simple reason that you're either probably going to love it or you're probably going to hate it, depending on what you take away from this film. Now, I'm not going to get too heavily into the whole reactions around this movie, other than the fact that I feel like a lot of the negative reaction to this movie is a little misplaced. Maybe not even misplaced, but one of the best quotes I saw about the movie and all the reviews I've thumbed through was that if the Joker was real, a movie about his life would be something he would want people to fight over. He would want people to question their morals, their ethics, everything about the movie. And he would want the movie to be told in a way where as him as the narrator would be unreliable. He wants you to try to figure it out. And as much as this is being shown off as a Joker origin story, it really does keep things a mystery, and I really can't go into why without going into spoiler territory. But when you're done watching the movie, you still question quite a lot, even though what it is essentially is an origin tale. It still holds very true to the Joker as a whole. So let's dive into it. Let's dive into the performance. The performance by Joaquin Phoenix was amazing. The performance by everyone in the movie was amazing. It was shot so well. Almost every frame, though, is Joaquin Phoenix. This movie does basically center you into Arthur Fleck's world. And it doesn't stray far from that. He is a man that suffers from mental illness. He has a laughing condition, an uncontrollable laugh, that he basically will laugh at situations he's not supposed to laugh at. Almost like a nervous tick in a way. Almost like that when something happens, his reaction is to laugh, and he can't stop. And it almost looks like it pains him to laugh sometimes, because I think he does understand and know that he shouldn't be laughing at certain situations. Lots of awkwardness comes up from that. There's a lot of awkward moments in this movie that really complete the atmosphere, because you're sucked into it and you feel for him, you feel bad for him, and you feel like man, like I don't want to. You almost don't want to be around the situation. It's like you want to leave, and that's the whole point of it. The whole point of it, there's a lot of it in the very beginning of the movie, which some people may find boring, some people may find over the top. I felt like it was perfect. It solidified you as to who he is before things start rolling. Now, after a certain point, I'm not going to go into anything other than that, because that's very light. That all happens at the very beginning of the movie. That's nothing that's going to spoil this movie for you. It's just setting up who he is and the type of character he is portraying. But this character goes through a evolution. This character goes through a journey. And that's what the whole film is about. And by the end of it, I really wanted to do something fun. Because while I think this film is great, I think this film is amazing, it's heavy. It's a very, very heavy film. It goes through so many dark places. It drags you through all these dark places. And you basically see a man go from where he's at to becoming the Joker. You see that evolution. It happens. And it's not pretty. And I was not expecting it to be pretty. And anyone that was reviewing this about how just horrific the movie is, how disturbing the movie is, it's a movie about the Joker. You're talking about a comic book character that doesn't have officially a set origin story. His origins are unknown, and so many things have been done to try to say this is what happened to him, or this is where he came from, or this, that, and the other, whatever. The fact of the matter is, how do you think the man that turned into the Joker became that way? Do you seriously think that's going to be a fun experience? Do you think that that's going to be an entertaining movie on the levels of, like, say, a Marvel movie or a superhero movie? I hate the fact that people are calling this a superhero movie. It's a comic book movie only in the fact that it's based on a comic book character, but this movie is grounded in such realism that it's unlike anything you've ever seen before. This movie could almost be standalone, and I've heard this mentioned too, as to, well, why did they even have to make it about the Joker? Why could they just made it about Arthur Fleck, and then these things happened to him? You didn't even have to put him as the Joker. And fair, I could see that, but the fact that it is the Joker, they can take it to certain areas that I don't feel like would have worked as a standalone, not a Joker, just a guy who goes insane. Like, that wouldn't have worked for me, because then I would have been like, okay, well, that was a disturbing film about a guy's descent into madness. But for it to be the Joker was just icing on the cake for me. And it also helped explain why certain things go certain ways. It also explains how the city, Gotham, is overtly just sinister and vile, and it's fallen into corruption. You could say that about any other city. I know people are making comparisons to New York, things like that. Gotham is always compared to something like that, right? But the thing about Gotham is that Gotham is a very dark place. Gotham is a very lost city. More lost than any of the cities that we have currently, or at least in the United States. Like, this city has to be portrayed in that comic book way. His actions and where he leads has to happen in a comic book way, which is why I feel like it fits perfectly with the Joker scenario, which is also why I feel like it fits perfectly in almost a commentary on real life. It's like real life, just a little bit worse. Not saying that this doesn't exactly happen to everyone. I know that everyone's been through some rough part in their life, or someone has witnessed someone who's gone through a very rough time in their life. Someone has dealt with or lives with a mental illness, or knows someone who does. This movie will hit you on all of these different levels, and I almost feel like the people who don't like this movie have found something too real about it. They have found something that hits way too close to home, and that scares them in a way. And it scared me because there were several scenes where I didn't even notice that I was losing my breath. Well, not losing my breath, but I held my breath. There are some scenes that are so tense in this movie that I did not realize I had stopped breathing until I breathed, and I was like, oh my God, I hadn't breathed through that whole section of that whole entire scene. I didn't even take a breath. That's how much this movie was intense. And like I said, that's not for everyone. You know, there are going to be people who go watch this movie who don't really care about the social commentary, who don't care about what it's trying to do or what it's trying to evoke, and they're going to leave that movie going, that was just a depressing movie to watch, and I don't think I want to watch that again. This movie is going to be a cult classic, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of cult classics are not happy films. A lot of cult classics are very disturbing. A lot of cult classics hit on a lot of issues that we really need to discuss and talk about. And the fact that a lot of the political debate around this movie is trying to stir up some sort of agenda is really sad, when it actually does the complete polar opposite. A lot of the political statements surrounding this about it being an incel sympathizer film, it's not. If you watch the movie, this Arthur is not some guy who lives. He does live with his mother, but he doesn't live in like his mother's basement and he's involuntary celibate or whatever the fuck the incel thing means, where it's can't have sex because women just won't like him anymore, and now he's angry, he's gonna have violence against women, right? Like, that's none of that's in this movie. Like, none of that exists in this movie. And I can't go into spoilers because I'm trying to keep this spoiler free, but honestly, watch the movie for yourself, or if you have seen it, comment below and let me know what you think. Do you think that a lot of the political stances that people were trying to make with this film make sense after seeing the film? To me, they don't. To me, I walked out of this film wanting to help people, wanting to check on people, wanting to be like, hey, like, if you need to talk, we can talk. Like this movie gave me such a complete different reaction than what some of these reviewers are trying to push. It almost like seems like these negative reviewers that drop it into a political stance are almost trying to just push some sort of agenda to people who probably won't go see the movie, who read their review, which is spoiler filled, by the way. A lot of these reviews are spoiler filled. They'll go, oh, okay, I can see how that makes sense. That he's detailing all this out, and he's putting in his little things about what he took away from it and how it relates to him. And it just doesn't seem like it adds up. I feel like they completely missed the point of the movie. As much as they want to say that this is going to cause an uprising, it should cause an uprising. It should cause an uprising on the fact that we need to be more aware of mental health issues, and to help people, and to be kind to people, and to help work changing our cities and our communities around to being better. And this movie doesn't really affect that in that way. Like, a lot of horrible things happen, but it's also about the Joker. I think that's what makes the movie so great, is that I feel like if it hadn't been about the Joker, then they could have somehow shoehorned in their whole like negative aspects about this movie. But the fact that it is about the Joker, the fact that the way things go and the way things happen, I at least walked out of the movie wanting to be better. Wanting to do better for people, wanting to hope and work on things for my community, or my friends, my family, people that are close to me, people that I talk to and interact with. Just be a good person. Like, I feel like the whole gist is being a good person. Like, that's the whole point. Or if we keep descending down into this dark area, we're gonna end up having a city like Gotham, and it's going to break people further who are already broken, and no one deserves that. So go see this movie. I'm gonna give it my verdict. My verdict is, it's a 10 out of 10, straight up. 10 out of 10. I mulled over this movie for days, which is why this review took so long to come out. I tried to look for things to criticize. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find anything to criticize. The acting was splendid. The cinematography was fantastic. Everything that was filmed so beautifully. The score will haunt you. The score, that I went back and listened to it when I got home on Spotify. And there are certain key elements in that movie that when the music plays, I was brought right back to that moment, and I was brought right back to what Arthur Fleck was feeling. And wow, what a powerful movie. What a powerful movie. Like I said, it's not going to be for everyone. It's if you can go into it with an open mind, and you don't mind movies that kind of push the boundaries on talking about things like this, and wanting you to take something away from it a little bit more. And also, it was fun seeing a origin story for Joker. It was fun seeing that, because that's never really been done, except for in the comics. but even that is still open for interpretation and is still not considered canon. And this really isn't considered canon either. And if you watch the movie and pay attention, it does leave it open-ended as well, which is exactly what the Joker is. It still leaves it with you not really knowing a lot. And I think that's the point. What did you guys think of this movie? Did you love it? Did you dislike it? Were you not for it? Are you going to go see it? I would say that it's definitely going to still be in the theaters because it's selling a lot right now. And it's got a lot of controversy around it. But like I said, if the Joker was real, that one quote I saw on the internet, if the Joker was real, he'd want us all to be debating this. He'd want us all confused and fighting over ethics and whatever his life's about. It's exactly what he'd want. To me, it's a perfect Joker film. So if you can this weekend, go see it, especially if you don't want to get spoiled. I feel like this movie is something that could get spoiled very quickly and very easily for people. If you have a slight interest in this movie, go see it. Go check it out. I'm actually going to go see it again this weekend with a friend who hasn't seen it yet. And I can't wait to see their reactions to a lot of the scenes because, like I said, it's a heavy movie, man. It's a heavy movie. I recommend going and get some ice cream afterwards. I recommend maybe watching a comedy. Do something to de-stress yourself afterwards because you're going to need it. You're going to need it. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Remember, comments are not spoiler free, so be wary of the comments. Let me know what you thought of the movie in the comment section down below. I'm also streaming a lot more, so Twitch and social links are going to be in the description as well. If you want to hang out with me while I stream, play some video games, you want to join my Discord, we can talk more movies, I'm all for it. Let's hang out. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you very much. Have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you again soon. Peace.